Welcome back to another episode of the Humble Hustle Podcast. We're your hosts, Nick Jones and Kayla Ebner.
Hello, hello.
And today we are going to have kind of a quick story time because I think Kayla mentioned that she was going to explain her drone story. So in this episode, we are going to just hear her story and how she crashed a few drones.
A few drones in 1 week. Yeah. So I posted on my Instagram a few weeks ago now. I had a little bit of a drone debacle. I crashed 2 drones in 1 week.
It's mind-blowing.
Unbelievable. Going from never, ever crashing a drone in my life to crashing 2.5 drones.
And not just crashing, totaling.
Totally. I totaled them all.
Yeah.
All three of them. We'll get to that part.
Oh,
it was the most insane week. I just wanted to cry every time. It was just one of those things where I kept thinking to myself, how is this even possible? Is this really happening? So I'll tell the story really quick, but I got a new client through a client that I currently work with that is a construction company. So I've been working with them on a few things, did a couple shoots for them last year, ironically not construction projects. We did annual meeting coverage, headshots, and stuff for their employees. But they introduced me to, I think it's a friend of theirs who owns this masonry company. And this company wanted to capture some projects that they've worked on and hang them up in their new office that they're moving into. So they wanted photos of their projects. And I'm like, that sounds awesome. And the work that they do is beautiful. It's such intricate, detailed work. The projects that they wanted to cover were in Boston and Newport. So we planned 2 half shoot days, one in Boston and one in Newport. So I was like, great. I had looked at the work that they had previously, and it was so shocking to me because how beautiful their work is. They didn't have a ton of professional photography. So I was like, I really want to blow them away with this. So I was planning on doing a lot of drone stuff, and it's all exteriors. So one day, it was a Tuesday, we planned a Boston shoot, and a woman from the construction company was coming with me to kind of make sure that I, could find everything okay. So we get to Boston and we're shooting 3 projects. First one goes great. Second one goes great. It was cold and windy and kind of misting all day. Not raining, but it was freezing. I mean, it's December. So it was really cold, really rainy. And I used 2 full drone batteries in the first 2 projects. And then we get to the third one and it's just a building. This one was going to be pretty quick. And I had the drone up and it was a bigger science building. And I had 20% battery left. I was good. And I went around the building and it wasn't that far. And I lose the signal. And I'm like, okay, it's just going to pop back up. Usually, it returns to home, it shoots up, and then it finds the signal and it comes back. And after 10 seconds, the screen was still black. And I was like, oh boy. So I looked at my client. She's standing next to me. It's the last shoot of the day. It's the last thing. I'm like, please, for the love of God. So I looked at her. I'm like, I just lost the signal. I'm going to go find it. And I go running down the street. I'm in Watertown, Massachusetts. Okay. It's a busy road. So I'm running down the street to where I last thought the drone was. And I see a guy go in the middle of the street and pick something up off the middle of the street, a busy road, main road. And I'm like, oh my God, it's my fucking drone. I go running across the street, across 4 lanes of traffic. Danger.
Wait, was this a random guy?
A random guy. It was a FedEx driver.
Oh, okay.
So I run over and he's got my drone in his hand and I was like, oh my God, are you okay? I think that was the first thing out of my mouth because I'm like, did this drone just fall out of the sky and hit this man in the head? It didn't because it was in the middle of the road. But that's scary. So he goes, it's broken. The legs are the wings are hanging down, dangling. He's like, it's broken. I'm like, it's okay. I'm glad you're all right. Thank you for grabbing it.
Yeah.
And so my drone is just absolutely crumpled. It she is dead and gone. No bringing her back. But luckily the SD card, it looks like it's still intact. And I'm like, okay, thank you. Thank God. I needed to plug it in immediately, but I didn't have the adapter on me. So I go back to my client. I tell her what happened. we didn't need to shoot anything else, luckily. So like I got everything I needed, but I did need a drone for Thursday for our Newport shoot. So I basically like immediately went on Amazon. I ordered another drone. It was going to come in the next day. Thank God. And it ended up coming in, and the SD card had everything on it from the shoot. So I'm like, whew, dodged a bullet on that. New drone's coming in. I got her all set up for the shoot on Thursday. Great. So I didn't have insurance on that one anymore because it was like 2 years since I had gotten it. So I had to buy a new one. And I didn't think it was going to be worth it to go through like my business insurance. So I just decided to buy a new one. And I got the insurance on the new one. Okay. So that's going to be important for the next part of the story. So our plan was to meet at 10 a.m. and this one was at the Newport mansions. So like the Marble House, Rose Cliff, and the Breakers, they all did work on these mansions.
Right.
Which is unreal.
Interesting, because like I've known, because I go to Newport a lot. Like I've known that those have had work on.
Yes.
And
so
it's
this
your
company
client.
did
Okay,
them.
cool.
Like like millions and millions of dollars of like updates and renovation. It's gorgeous. They look so beautiful.
Yeah, no, Rose Cliff I feel like has been under construction for a while.
God, it's so beautiful. Oh,
but that's cool.
Incredible.
That it's yours.
Yeah. So that's what I was gonna get to do. I want to go above and beyond. I'm gonna get up at the ass crack of dawn and drive there and get golden hour drone shots for this company. So I get up, I drive, I get there at like 6 a.m. I'm waiting for the sun to rise, and I'm waiting to do like these golden hour drone shots because I feel like that's just the most amazing way to capture these mansions is like in that kind of light. So I park at the parking lot there's like a lot across from the Marble House. And I'm even recording like BTS content, which will never see the light of day. You'll shortly see why. So I put it up. I get the Marble House. Awesome. I bring her back down. I put a new battery in, and I just decided to fly like from that lot to Rosecliff because it's not far. So I have the drone up at Rosecliff, and it's so opposite weather basically. Like it was perfectly sunny, like a beautiful day, but it was hella windy. Like so windy, and you're right on the water, which makes it worse. So I'm like, I'm not gonna go too high, which I didn't need to anyways, because like it's important to capture the details in these shots, so you need to be kind of close. So I was like, I'm not going too high. I'm gonna be careful, whatever. I'm in the front of Rosecliff, and I was like taking a video actually. So I have a video of the crash, but I was taking a video, and I was not moving quick. I was like panning, in front of the mansion. And all of a sudden, like a gust of wind. I was too close to a tree. A gust of wind comes, and the drone blows into a tree branch. And I've hit tree branches before, and you just bounce right back out. Usually it's fine. Nope. She got stuck, like really stuck in this tree. And it's the tree like right in front of the mansion, basically. So I'm looking up, and it's just hanging there, just dangling, like bad. And I'm like, okay, it'll fall. I stood under that fucking drone for 20 minutes waiting for it to fall. It's so windy out. The drone's heavy, but it was like perfectly stuck in like the crook of I don't even know what you call it, like the wing, the leg. Like the sturdy part of the leg was on the branch. And there was no moving it. Like it was not coming out. So I had brought my mini drone with me, like my mini DJI drone. And I was like, I'm going to crash this motherfucker. Like I'm going to hit it and it's going to fall out and then everything will be fine. I rammed into the drone with my other drone.
Wait,
like
what? You never told me this.
Times.
What?
I put the mini drone up. I'm crashing into it.
That is hilarious.
It's so funny. And the mini drone, I got to give it to her, man. She bounced out. When she hit the drone, she kept bouncing out and like catching herself.
Funny.
It was hilarious, Nick. It was so funny. I have it all on video. So I think I rammed into it like 4 times and it still didn't fall. And then I broke the mini one. Finally, she did decease.
Dude, that is actually hilarious.
It was so funny. Is that not crazy? Well, that's a good idea. Like you got to give it to me.
No, yeah. If I didn't have that, I'd probably just be like tossing up rocks or sticks or something.
It was so high though. Like it was pretty high. So finally I'm like, I give up. And the mansion, it's like probably 8:15 at this point in the morning. and they're opening soon. I'm like, I can't have this drone dangling in the front of this prestigious mansion. How embarrassing. And like, so the property manager came over. I told him what was going on. I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm going to get it out. And then I was texting my mom and she was like, call the fire department. So I call the Newport Fire Department. And lo and behold, they say, we'll send someone over. They're like, do you think you need a truck? I'm like, I think so.
Oh, gosh.
I fear I need a truck. So 30 minutes later, down the street comes a literal fire truck to get my drone out of the tree. They must have had such a slow morning. So they get there in the fucking fire truck. I'm just so embarrassed at this point. Like, this is horrendous. So they get there. I show them what's going on. I'm profusely apologizing for wasting their time with this. And they get the truck like in place in the driveway. And I'm not kidding you. They're like about to put the ladder up. He's like hand on the trigger, ready to put the ladder up. And the gust of all gusts of wind comes, knocks my drone out of the tree, crashes onto the ground.
Damn.
I was like, are you fucking kidding me right now? It was unbelievable. I was like, this can't be real. I was just thankful that it got out of the tree because that would have been so awful if it was just hanging there in front of the mansion. It was so nice that the Newport Fire Department came. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm sorry. But yeah, that was my drone story. I had really bad luck that week.
Very.
I had never crashed a drone before this, and now I've got 2.5 under my belt. We'll call it 3.
Yeah, I would call it 3.
Like,
I've crashed Mavics before, but not totaled them. Like, I've ran into trees, like twigs.
Yeah.
And sure, it like wobbled them, but I've never had one fall out of the sky.
Really? Yeah, the first one I was like that. The first one was weird. I think it was because I had it up all morning, and it was like really cold outside. So I think the low battery probably just died, like on.
I mean, also, I think you push them more than I do. Like, also, I don't fly that much, but
I was good.
At 20%, I land.
I'm a safe drone flyer. It was my last battery.
Okay, if it's the last one, I would push
to get the shot. 20% is like that's
actually
not
no.
that
That's
crazy.
That's a complete lie. I just lied. there was one time that I flew it until 1%.
What?
It was
survived?
actually it was in Newport. Actually, now that I think about it, I was flying and I think maybe it was the last one, or I was just feeling it, like pushing it that day.
Oh
but
my
it was
God.
like, I don't know, maybe 1,500 meters. I don't know. It was very far away, very far away.
Jesus.
And it was at the point where it was forced landing itself
Oh my God.
because it just couldn't stay up anymore.
Yes.
And I just kept hitting cancel
I know.
to try and get it
It's like,
back to
it
me.
makes the wee woo sound.
So
it's like
I
beeping
was
at you.
like looking to see, like I could see pretty much a mile away the speck in the sky.
No.
And I could just see it just slowly going down. And I'm like, okay, I got to get it back. And
Pedal to the metal.
as I landed, it was at 1%. And I was like, got it.
Were you over the water?
No.
Oh, okay.
But it
okay,
would have
okay.
hit, I was over streets. So
Oh my God.
probably worse.
That is risky.
Yeah,
See?
that was the most risky I've flown.
It was yelling at me, but it does that to me. Like, I think when it gets to 20% is that when it starts doing the beep thing.
Yeah.
So
I
I was
think
like,
so.
it's fine because I've done that before. It's not that big of a deal. But the combination, I think, of it being so cold outside and then losing the
Right.
signal, she didn't have the energy to come home. She never came home. So that was my wild story. The Newport Fire Department, shout out to them. That was very nice of them to come out. I feel awful. And I got a new drone in because it was under insurance. So I sent in the request. I sent in the beat up drone. They sent me a new one and all is well.
There we go.
Lessons learned. I literally I've always been such like what I would say like cautious and like safe drone flyer. I'm not a risky person. I'm not flying through things. Like, I know people who are so reckless with the drone. I'm not that person. So this is very out of character for me. And literally I told my client when she got there, I was like, you're not going to believe what happened. I was like, I hope you don't think I'm the most unprofessional person ever. I'm just having a
Did
really
you have to like cancel the
bad
rest of the
luck
shoot
week.
that day?
No,
Just go
we
home?
did. It's because I got the two first mansions. I did not get Drone of the Breakers, but they also had a ton of Christmas decorations up. So I was like, I don't know if I even want to get that. So it was like just these freak accidents. I mean, obviously user error played a role, but never has this happened to me in my life before. So very interesting. So you don't have any like drone crash stories, huh?
Well, not Mavics. I've crashed FPV
well, that
drones,
makes sense.
but
They're like made to be crashed, right?
You can't be an FPV pilot and not crash.
Yeah.
Like it's inevitable. But I've lost 2 FPV drones and I haven't really flown since because I just stopped. But the first one was not my fault. I lost signal and I crashed into a river.
Oh, that was in Iceland, right?
No.
Oh no, it wasn't.
The second time was my fault. And I also crashed into a river.
Oh, rivers are not good luck for you.
Yeah. The first time I was in the White Mountains and I lost signal. And so when you're flying the DJI ones at least, you can flip it back into normal mode. So it'll fly like a Mavic. So as soon as I lost signal, I flipped it into normal mode as soon as I could, hoping that it would just start auto hovering like a normal Mavic would. And I was like, okay, I did it as fast as I possibly could have. If it's still alive, it should just be hovering over there somewhere.
Yep.
So I walk over and I was like looking at the map and I saw nothing. And I saw like its last location was like over this river. I'm like, no. So I go down to like the riverbed and I start looking.
Oh.
And I didn't find it. And so I just abandoned it, lost that one.
Oh my God.
And then I went to Iceland and I got cocky and see, the disappointing thing, I was in the middle of such a great shot. Like, it was at this like waterfall and river thing, and I was flying down super low in the water, just following the river, and it was looking great. And there was this like truss bridge, and I think I went like through some of the trusses at the end, and then I was gonna turn around and just come back to me to like maybe do another run. But instead of being a normal person, just like turning it around and flying it to me, I went through the trusses and decided to do a flip.
Oh no.
Just for fun, because I would do them in practice all the time. But I did the flip, didn't pull up fast enough, and it went plop.
No. That's heartbreaking too, because if you can't retrieve it, like your SD card's gone.
Yeah, it's gone. And it was funny because like I had it connected to my phone, so like my friends were like watching it with me live, and they were all like, and I'm like, yep, she's gone.
Fuck. It's heartbreaking. Like, it was sad.
I actually, actually not surprisingly, I wasn't that sad because I told myself, not hoping this would happen, but just knowing me, I said, I'm not leaving Iceland with this drone. It's going to crash at some point. And luckily it was like a few days into the trip, so I did get a handful of flies in. But I was okay with it because I had the mentality that I was going to lose it. So it was inevitable in my head.
I definitely did not have that mentality.
Because I was a reckless FPV pilot.
Well, you have to risk it for the biscuit with those to get like cool shots. I've never done one. I don't think I ever have an intention of flying one.
I like hardly fly drones anymore, ever.
Yeah.
I haven't flown in so long, I'm not even licensed anymore. Like my license expired and I never renewed it. So maybe I'll just renew it soon just so I can fly again. But yeah, I just don't have the need to fly.
Yeah. Oh my God, I actually need to check if mine's expired.
It's 2 years. So it
might be.
Depends when you got it.
I'll have to check that.
It's easy to do. I just haven't done it.
Yeah, it's online, right? No, I think I did it. I'm pretty sure I did it. Well, I'll have to check. Yeah, so there's our drone stories. Tragic, but hopefully won't happen again. Yeah, so that's the story. Thanks to everyone who reached out and offered their condolences. It's very nice. But yeah, it's the risk you run with this equipment. Like, stuff happens on shoots, things break. Like, it just is what it is, and that's why you have insurance and why you hopefully are smart about stuff. But I definitely learned a couple lessons, and I
mean, I've had other things break on me, just not drones.
Yep. So it happens to everyone. So I just wanted to provide an update about that.
All right. Well, not that was a long story.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do is probably just end this episode here.
Yes.
But because that was just an entertaining drone story. So in our next episode, that's where we'll really dive into 2025 goals and whatnot.
Yes.
So hopefully you enjoyed Kayla's
My tragic
misery.
I can laugh about it now, so it's okay, guys.
No, honestly, the
laugh.
ramming the drone with the other drone is just so funny in my
Genius.
head.
Yeah, it could have worked too. That's what loosened it. It's like, when you're opening the pickle jar, I loosened it
Okay.
by ramming into the thing.
Got it.
Ugh. All right. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. We will see you in the next episode for our New Year goals and stuff.
Bye.
Bye.